Alright, this is the last example from 1.4. It's about as yucky as they can get in terms of radical equations. We have two radicals. So kind of the idea here is to isolate one of the radicals so that you can square it to undo the square root, and then we'll have to shuffle around and do some algebra to isolate the other square root and then square it, and then shuffle some stuff around. Maybe it's a quadratic, maybe it's a linear, and then you can solve it from there. So here's the equation. We're going to go ahead and isolate a root. So I'm going to isolate the x minus 1. So we subtract square root of x plus 1 from both sides. So just x minus 1 is left over with the negative sign in front. And on the other side is 2 minus square root of 3x plus 1. So what's going to undo the squares is the square root. So we're going to square both sides. The square and the square root undo each other, and also the negative cancels out on the outside. Now what's going to happen here is we're going to FOIL. I'm going to go ahead and write this out as 2 minus 3x plus 1 under the square root times 2 minus 3x plus 1 under the square root. And we're going to go ahead and FOIL the left hand, not the left, the right hand side out, okay? I think I made a mistake right here. It should say minus 1. I do fix it in just a minute, so if that's bothering you, that should say x minus 1 right here. It'll be fixed in a second here. Alright, so what happens here is we're going to FOIL. So we're going to do 2 times 2, which is 4. And then we're going to do square root of 3x plus 1. No, not that one, sorry. And we'll do 2 times square root of 3x plus 1, so that's this term here. And get rid of these highlights. And then in orange, we do a little bit further foiling. Square root of 3x plus 1 times 2 is this term here. And then square root of 3x plus 1 times square root of 3x plus 1. There's the negatives cancel and give us a positive. And we get square root of 3x plus 1, quantity squared. Okay? So what we're going to do here is I'm going to fix that x, then see if we fix this. This is now x minus 1. So x minus 1 equals 4 minus, and what I did is I combined my like terms here. These guys are like terms. And then the square root and the square undid each other, so those are gone. And now what we'll do is we'll combine our like terms. So we got a 1 here and a 4 there. And I'm going to move the 3x in the front too, because I like to have the x out in front. Okay. And what we want to do is, so I mentioned again we combine like terms. So I combine like terms again. And then we're going to go to the next screen, and I should rewrite the expression again. And what I would like to do is isolate the square root. So we're going to subtract 3x from both sides, and we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. So we can isolate that square root. Okay. And what I notice here is I want to make this a little bit easier. So I'm looking at the coefficients, 2, 6, and 4. All divisible by 2. I can actually divide it by negative 2 because they're all negative. And it's just going to make the numbers smaller. Smaller numbers are easier to work with. So that's what's going on here. Okay. Alright, now we got that square root thing pretty much isolated. So now we're going to square both sides. And x plus 3 quantity squared is going to FOIL out to x squared plus 6x plus 9. The other side, the 2, becomes a 4. The square root and the square are going to cancel each other out. So that's what's happening over on the right side. We'll go ahead and distribute on the right side. And then we will move everything over to the left-hand side because it's a quadratic. And then we will cross our fingers and hope it factors, and thankfully it does. So we get x is equal to 5, or x is equal to 1. Now we did all that hard work, so we hope that both these answers are good. So we're going to remember our answers of 5 and 1, and we're going to go to the last slide here, and we're going to plug them in. So we're going to check our solutions. So I'll write down the original equation, and we will plug 5 in. let's see. So 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16, so we have square root of 16. 5 minus 1 is 4, so minus square root of 4, which is 4 minus 2, which is 2. So we give ourselves a happy face, and since we're so excited, we'll give it, I don't know, we'll make it a sun, or it has blonde hair or something like that. I don't know, because we're so excited we got that one. Alright, now let's try the other one. We're going to plug in 1. So 3 times 1 plus 1, that's going to give us 4 under the square root. And then the other square root is going to be 1 minus 1, which is 0. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 0 is 0. And so we got 2 minus 0, which is 2. And again, we get very happy, and we draw ourselves a happy face, and this one has purple hair, or, I don't know, maybe it's Barney. I don't know. Anyways,